I'm Andy Berry, a pastor and parent still learning how to disciple not only the kids in my own home, but the kids in my ministry. So I'm having conversations with innovative leaders who are fostering a strong partnership between the church and the home. This is the Nurturing Faith Collective podcast. Well, welcome back to the Nurturing Faith Collective podcast. My name is Andy Berry, and as you can see, we've had some changes on the podcast. So my co-host and dear friend, Danelle Schlickenmeyer, who co-hosted the first half of this first season of the podcast with me, has moved on from this role. She's taken a new role with INCM. She's doing some incredible work that unfortunately has prevented her from finishing this season. And so we're going to move forward, continuing to talk to ministry leaders, faith influencers, parents, folks from the Nurturing Faith Collective. We're going to continue to have these conversations, but it will be just me. So we will miss her so much. And I just want to say thank you to Danelle for helping get this ball rolling, helping get this podcast started. We had a ton of fun doing it together. And so I will miss her flavor on the podcast. But man, are we trying to still move forward. And we have some great guests for you today. Tania Kopplin and Tina Wallace, who are both a part of the Nurturing Faith Collective. They're part of the coaching initiative, which they talk all about in this episode, coaching ministry leaders, coaching parents, grandparents, really anyone influencing the faith of a kid. They're trying to enter into these coaching relationships with and provide some guidance and ask some questions to help folks take next steps. And who doesn't need that or want that in today's version of trying to be a parent and a faith influencer and a ministry leader? That coaching is incredibly helpful. They're both graduates of Bethel Seminary, which we talk about. They're both actually teaching, as well as Tania is in a local church context. And Tina has stepped out of children's ministry after serving about 20 years in the local church context. So they bring a fresh perspective from the teaching world, from the parenting world, raising grown kids, some grandchildren for Tina, and they mix all of that, parenting, teaching, ministry leadership. They mix all of that into this new initiative to offer coaching to parents and leaders. I am delighted for you to hear this episode. We find Tina at a very interesting place, and so hang on to see where she's at. It's something I didn't even know existed. All right, enjoy this episode of the Nurturing Faith Collective podcast. Hey, Tina, Tania, thank you for joining us on the Nurturing Faith Collective podcast. We are so excited to have you on today. You are part of the Nurturing Faith Collective, and you are a team that we have not heard from yet. And so we're delighted to have you on. But it looks like you're in a couple different places. Tina, you might be in a hotel. Are you traveling?
I am currently in Orlando with my husband's company. We are here for a laundromat conference. Who knew there was such a thing?
A laundromat conference.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Who are the keynote speakers at a laundromat conference?
Well, I'll have all the details for you when it starts tomorrow. I
love it. I love it. So you're in the pre-wash right now.
Correct.
It hasn't started. You're soaking right now. And in fact, because we said this before we came on, your husband is actually soaking down in the hotel pool right now.
He is in the pool. I kicked him out so that we could do this. Yes, he is soaking.
The laundromat conference. I have never heard of such a thing. I love it.
I guess there's conferences for everything. I don't know.
Yeah, I love it. Well, hey, listen, if you're listening and you are a frequent attender of a laundromat conference, write us a note. Let us know. Drop a comment. Let us know what's going on. But you're not anywhere near your home. Where are you? Where are you originally living, or not originally from, but where are you living now?
I live in Cottage Grove, Minnesota. It is a suburb of St. Paul, about 30 minutes away from St. Paul.
Wonderful. And Tania, you are not in a hotel.
Nope, I'm home. I'm in a little town called Rowlett, just outside of Dallas, Texas. So it's been very hot here, and it's hopefully fall is coming soon. Today's not too bad. We had a little cool front, so it's not hitting 100 today.
Gotcha. What is Rowlett known for? Anything?
Being near Dallas.
Oh, there you go. And Dallas is known for a great number of
A
things.
lot of
So
things. Yep.
you can just sort of ride those coattails. I love it.
Yeah.
Well, Tina, we are in a little bit of a celebratory mood because you guys had some big news. You had the birth of your 10th grandchild yesterday.
And,
I
and
love it. A
yeah,
little boy.
a little boy. We now have 5 granddaughters and 5 grandsons. Mr. Axel made his debut yesterday at 4 a.m. and he evened us up. Yes.
I love it. I love it.
Hmm.
You all have like 2 good basketball teams that can go against each other.
Right.
You have 2 full starting lineups as grandchildren now.
That's right.
How
I
about
don't
that?
know.
And Tina, Tina and Tanya, you both have three kids, 3 grown kids. So you're in that phase of life and parenting and leadership. What can I look forward to? I have a 7 and 10-year-old. So what can I look forward to in the adult children years?
Oh, hold on
It's
to him right
wonderful.
now. Teach him now. Teach him now. Work on communication right now.
Sure.
Don't wait.
Just like every day when they get on the bus, I'm like, I love you. God is with you. Call your
Yep.
parents every day.
Yep.
I love it.
Yeah. Yes.
Well, that's good.
Yeah.
Well, so you all, as I mentioned, are part of the coaching initiative, part of the coaching team with the Nurturing Faith Collective. Tell me about, Tina, you can start. Tell me about the work that you all have done to kind of get things ready and where things are at now.
Okay. Well, it was about this time last year that Denise contacted both Tanya and I and kind of rolled out this Nurturing Faith Collective, and she was going to have these initiatives, and she matched us up, and she said, I think you guys would be great partners. And so we connected. We had never met. We did not go to school together. And we hit it off. We really did. And we honestly were like, coaching, we've done coaching. We both had, shared that we both been in ministry leadership, and we'd coached parents and leaders through the years that we'd done that. But what did it look like in a real formal kind of setting? And so we wanted to look at, how is a coach different than a counselor and a mentor, right? So we kind of spent a lot of time trying to look at those definitions. And then we also both felt like we'd done some informal coaching, but we felt like we needed to have kind of like formal training, right? So that when we met with people, we could say, we've had this training,
Sure.
it would reflect better on the initiative. And so we researched a lot of different places where to go to get this training and what really lined up with the Nurturing Faith content.
Yeah, we've both been doing some mentoring and practice coaching, just going through our process that we put together and asking someone to help out. Can we practice on you? So
Yeah.
that's been a lot of fun. And by doing that, then we have like a feedback form when we're done, and they, given us some good feedback, and we can use that now kind of to post on the Facebook, or on the website and the Facebook page to let people know, hey, this is a good thing.
So we in the Nurturing Faith Collective, we're all about parents, ministry leaders, faith influencers. Who's the ideal person that would come to you all for coaching?
A children's pastor, a new children's pastor, maybe. Parents, grandparents.
Yeah.
Really, I guess anyone who has influence over the discipleship of a child, anyone who's actively engaged in the life of a child. We think that's our target for the podcast, that anybody who has any kids in their sphere of influence, we're like, come listen, because you will catch something. But I love talking about parents, grandparents. I love that. They are an incredibly valuable influence. They're an incredibly valuable resource within our churches. But my children are lucky enough to have four living grandparents here in the town where we're at, and each of them have influence over our kids. And so I love the idea of a grandparent saying, "Hey, I just want to get a little bit of coaching so I know how to better lead my grandchild." What a dream that would be for you all to have a coaching relationship like that. But yeah, and certainly new ministry leaders. By the way, if you are a young ministry leader and you're looking for more training, Bethel Seminary, we can't recommend it
Yeah.
enough. Uh,
Mhm.
Tanya, Tina, we are all been a part of Bethel Seminary and the family ministry program there, all at different times though.
Mhm.
Tanya, you're the newest of the grads in the group in 2023,
Yep.
right? And Tina, I love it. You refer to yourself as the OG.
OG. Yeah, yeah. I was back in cohort I. We used to have, I don't know, do they still do letters for the cohorts
We may
every
have
year?
had one, but I don't know what it was.
Yeah. So I was in the very beginning of the alphabet. So
Sure.
I graduated in '09,
Oh,
2009, a long time ago.
oh, oh, 09. I mean, you could have said like 1953. Like that. You're not that old. You're not that old, but yeah, 2009, and it is amazing to me. Certainly, there have been cultural shifts. There have been shifts in the church. There have been shifts in parenting since 2009. But there are such fundamental truths when it comes to discipling kids and students that a lot of your education, still holds up, but you're also learning new things. And that's what I love about this coaching initiative is you're taking education that you've both received, real world experience that you have as parents, ministry leaders, teachers, and you're wrapping all of that into a relationship with a coachee. Would you say coachee? Is that the right? I've heard mentee, but
Yep.
coachee sounds strange. But anyway, someone who is receiving coaching. Um, but we want to make certain that something is clear, and that is, and I know you all want to make this clear. This is not counseling.
It's not counseling. And when I went through my coach training, they kind of clarified that, right? Like a coach really draws questions out, right? They do not give advice. They're really helping you, the coachee, kind of come to their own conclusions, right? And make their own decisions for what next steps to take, right? So the coach asks a lot of questions, right? And where a counselor can give advice and suggestions, if that helps clarify it. Yeah,
And I think we've said in the past, uh, certainly if you're a ministry leader, if you're a parent, I think having a coach and a counselor is a wise move.
for
Having
sure.
both of those influences, and then certainly a mentor. That would be a third person. Someone who's maybe a few steps ahead of you, either professionally or with family and life stage. Having them speak into to you and being able to meet with them. When you all do when you have a coaching relationship with someone, what's the cadence like for that? How often is that? What do those sessions look like?
It's set up right now as like a 5 session package. A session would be like 45 minutes to an hour. The first one being free. So we do have a slight charge for it because then it adds value. Um, so we would start by just getting to know them. And we had created, Tina, I don't remember, we had these questions. We made a whole list of questions, like what was your family of origin with church and prayer, like your spiritual background, or pray, how do you pray with your kids at home, or what's your church experience? And then we kind of broke it down into those little categories. I think we have like 7 or 8.
Hmm.
And those categories are really based. We pulled all that information in those categories from the Nurturing Faith Collective book. So when we first meet, I would ask you, like, Andy, on a scale of 1 to 6, where do you feel like you are as a dad in your family with praying with your kids or
Right.
going to
Are
church?
you
And
asking me right? Are you asking? Are
No,
we doing
no,
the assessment right now?
we're coaching right now.
Yeah.
but that's how we would start. And
Right.
then, so for example, Tina and I both have been like practice coaching with a few people. And so the one mom that I had started with, I gave her that little survey. And then it came up to like 3 were her top concerns. I'm like, so which one do you want to start with? So then we just kind of worked through that area that she wanted more information. Like, she didn't grow up in a family that prayed. So how do I pray with my kid? What
Right.
ideas do you have? So sometimes, we'll give suggestions, or we've also created a resource list, a toolbox that
Hmm.
we can have at our hands to give to the parents, like, hey, check out this website. So maybe we're not going to give them the answer, but we'll say, here's a resource. You go dig and
Yeah.
find out yourself. So those are some of the things that I've done, with my 2 practice ones.
Tanya, I was just going to say, I don't think that the mother that you were talking about, that you've been coaching, I don't think she would call it a practice. I think she's getting the good stuff.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, no, that's really good. No, continue with what you were saying though.
So it's packaged as 5. The first one being free and just kind of get to know you, and then we set it up. So basically, a package of 4. Then after 4, the client and the coach, we would work together and decide, hey, do you want to keep going, and do you want to sign up for the next 4? So that's how we've set it up for now, just to get started.
Gotcha. Client is the word I was trying to come up with when I went with coachee.
Yeah.
Client
Okay.
is so much more professional sounding. So I love this idea that a leader in really any season, right? A parent in any season can enter into this type of coaching relationship, because I think there are times, well, I know there are times for me as a dad of 2 young kids, as a ministry leader in a local church context, there are times that I feel ill-equipped. Probably every day I feel ill-equipped, if I'm being really honest, because I oftentimes will joke, working in children's ministry, I will say, don't you remember the days when it was just like pick a coloring sheet and tell the Bible story and like we're good, and it was never as simple as that. I understand. But it feels like we are ministering and pastoring in a time that there are just such massive cultural shifts. And so what we have to become experts in, that list feels like it's getting longer. And so I love that someone can start this relationship, uh, eh, enter into this coaching rhythm with you all. And it doesn't start with me having to know what I need help with, and just sort of going, please help me with this. It starts with that assessment. And I can just be honest and answer some questions. And then from there, you all use the wisdom that you have to steer me into the right direction in the conversations we need to have.
Mhm.
That alone is incredibly helpful, right? So if you're the kind of person who's like, I know I'm hungry, but please don't ask me where I think we should eat dinner. Like that's the perfect scenario for you, right? I know I need help. I know there are gaps in my wisdom, in my leadership. I know there's gaps in my experience. And you all are saying, hey, let's just start small, answer a few questions, and then we'll have some directions. What a gift that is to people. So thank you all for developing the tool that way. What's been the feedback? I mean, you said you've done some practice sessions. What's been the feedback from folks?
On my end, it's been great. I have met with a friend that she is new to her role at her church, and she really wants it to become more family integrated, right? She really wants to help the parents and help the other church leaders better understand how to reach the families. And she's loved it. We had great conversation, and she's like, "When can we meet again?" So I think she's eating it up. She loves it. Yeah.
Nice. Well, and we have said from the very beginning of this podcast, we want folks to walk away, with practical, tactical steps here. So can we sort of peek behind the curtain, Tina, of that coaching relationship? What advice, what things did you all talk about as far as connecting with parents better in that ministry context?
Well, like what you said, we used the wheel, right? And she kind of rated all the different categories. And I was like, okay, these were the kind of the 3 that, you scored lowest on. Which of these 3 do you want to work on? And so we picked communication, because then that's a great place to start, right? And so from that session, we leaned into like, what's your social media presence? Like, how do you connect with parents? Like, how do they know what's going on in your program?
Sure.
How do they know what your expectations are? And how do they know to access you? And so she was like, you know what? You're right. I do need to do a newsletter. I need to get it on social media. I do need to, make these updates to be able to communicate better with the families. That
That's
was
great.
a big that.
That's great. And it's one of those things, man, and you've talked about, you both have talked about, we don't give answers. We just sort of ask the right questions. And,
Mhm.
so that may be something that in the back of her head somewhere, she knew, I got to start doing a newsletter. Oh, I got to communicate better. But it wasn't until she was able to have that conversation with you and put like steps 1, 2, 3, 4 in order, and then be able to execute on it. So what a gift that is to her. Tanya, what kind of feedback have you been getting?
Both good. I coached
I
with.
thought you were going to say both good and bad.
Oh no, good. Both were very good. The mom that I coached with, I think, like what you were saying, the benefit of it, she was already doing some really great things and she is already on a good path. She has another lady that is discipling her and her family and doing a beautiful job. So I think for that mom, it was a lot of just affirming what she's doing is really well.
Right.
One of the things Tina and I talked a lot about and said we want to start with is even what are your family values?
Sure.
Because all of this really comes back to what's important for you and your family. So I talked with the mom about that and she thought that was really great. And it just really helped her and her husband then gave them conversation topic to work on. And what are we really doing here? We know we need to teach them to pray, but why? So
Right.
that was really helpful for her. And then the ministry leader, she's in a small church, very similar to mine. She is a volunteer doing children's ministry. But she doesn't have much background. She's not a teacher, not just a mom, but she's a mom
Right.
with a big heart for children. And she sees that it's a need in her congregation and there aren't many people. So she jumped in,
I love it.
so just giving her direction and affirming too, like what you're doing is great. Here are some ideas. This is what we've tried. But as we found, both of us have found out, as I'm talking to her and giving her ideas, she's sharing her with me what she's doing. I'm like, oh,
Sure.
block that away. I need to do that later. Like that's a great
Yeah.
idea. Well, there's that back and forth of yes, I'm coaching her, but I'm also learning from her experiences and things that she does. So it's been great both ways.
I love that. And that's really the secret of this podcast is and Danelle, who was hosting, with me before, we always said we're like, we get to pick the brains of some of our favorite people. We just get to learn from people for like an hour, and then go apply that. And so, yeah, what is something that maybe you all have learned from I'm going to stick with it, from the coachee, that you're applying to, you're both working in, you're both in teaching context. What have you applied that you've learned?
I think from the ministry leader gal that I've been working with is because sometimes when you're the volunteer leader and you really are like the children's pastor. But it is volunteer and there is no compensation and
Right.
no direct role. You haven't been called or hired. And um, there's that tension sometimes and that struggle that she and I both have talked about a little bit, but just I think I've learned from her the contentment and just watching her passion just kind of reignites me like, yep, this is good. I can do this. So that's been really great. And then
Wow.
she did a summer like moms program where we had talked about what that would look like and she ended up just doing a once a week, but they didn't really plan it. They just had a play date and they had a playground at their church. And I think it exceeded her expectations and she ended up having, I think one thing's her goal was to have the moms in her church know each other because they didn't even know each
Yeah.
other. So that was a first step. So like, well, that was a great idea. I might have to try that.
I love it. There's this idea that, we see children's ministry, student ministry, family ministry, resources out there. Um, Nurturing Faith Collective put a great one out, but there are lots of great resources. And sometimes it can feel like, oh man, that big church down the street, they have enough time and energy and people and resources to put out something, and so we that's what we see. And that's oftentimes what's available to us. Or we'll go to conferences and we'll see speakers that are world renowned, speakers that we really trust and have influence over us. But to me, it's the quarterly gathering that I have with other children's ministry leaders in Richmond, where I am, where I think I'm learning the most. It's the people in very similar context to mine, or wildly different. Some folks that are at inner city churches, whereas I'm out in the suburbs, or I'm a medium-sized church. We have some bigger, we have some smaller, we have some paid people, we have some volunteer people. A good idea in when it comes to discipling kids, there are good ideas all over the place. And so, yeah, getting to learn from one another. I'm a little jealous that you all are in those conversations with folks, um, because I think, well, man, what am I missing? What can I be learning? And so, but that's why I'm excited to have these conversations. Tina, what do you feel like you've sort of taken away and applied?
I feel like it's just a reminder, honestly, I just how important it is to listen, right? To ask questions and listen. Kind of just tagging on to what you were just saying, Andy, right? It's just conversations, right? And so, as I met with my client and we talked about communication, just a reminder of it's so important to be meeting with your leaders above you and the people that you serve and listening to them. And don't go in there, don't go in with brilliant ideas, like thinking you have it all figured out, right? No, you need to be always be listening, asking good questions and listening, which is totally applicable to us as coaches, right?
Right.
And so,
What would you all say to a person who's in a smaller context? Maybe there's not as much budget, but they're listening to this and they think, man, I would really love to get some coaching. How would you recommend they approach a senior pastor or senior leadership of their church? Uh, how can they not talk them into it, but how can they help that senior leader see the vision of the cost that's involved in this?
I would encourage them to go to the Nurturing Faith Collective website, listen to some of Andy's podcasts, and just I
Thanks
think
for the plug.
and even the book, because a lot of what we did was based on, topics that came out of the surveys that had gone on. And to just encourage them, like, hey, this would be something that would help me to be better with the parents or to know what to
Right.
do with the parents. Helping me, supporting me in doing this coaching would is going to help me help you and disciple our kids and our families better. So if you come at it with this is for all of us. Like
Right.
I will get the coaching, but this is going to help our whole, like our core values. And maybe even like our church really uses traction in the core values a lot. Like this lines up with our core values, all ages, all stages,
Right.
discipling.
Right.
So I would, if someone's looking to do this and wanting the support from the church, look at what your church core values are and use that avenue.
What would you all say to this is hard, right? The reason that we have coaching is this is hard. Raising kids is hard. It's well, if you're doing it, if you're working at it, it's hard, right? If you're trying really hard, it's hard. It's exhausting. Being in ministry, it can be tough. It can be hard. What would you say to the person who's like, I don't have it anymore. I'm ready. I got to give this up. You all are casting a beautiful vision for this, and I just don't have the energy for it. I think I'm done. How would you encourage that person?
as a person that did serve for decades and was called out, um, and I kind of wallowed a bit, like, what now, right? That there are different ways that you can continue to do it, right? So,
I love that.
um, right? It's just uh, listen to God, and if it's truly a calling that He's put on your life, on your heart, um, it may not be in that space, but it could be just look a little different in a different space. I mean, maybe it's your you're mentoring a neighbor's kid, or maybe it's you're just doing something different. But I would listen to God. I just really seek God's guidance. But it's not doesn't mean it's done. Yes.
So Tina, there's more behind that. So tell us about
Mhm.
your current context. You've been in
Yeah.
the world of children's ministry, and now you're doing taking a different path.
Yeah, and it's changed a lot. This year has been a big change for Tanya and I. We both our roles have changed a lot. So yes, I was a children and family pastor at a big church for close to 20 years, and God called me out of that, and it was a tough season. And then I subbed in the school district a little bit. It was kind of just a holding placeholder, right? And I ended up teaching at a Christian school. And but this past year, and again, I kind of felt like that was another placeholder. It was a great space for me to serve children in in Christian, education. But this year, an amazing opportunity came. I am now teaching with Likewise Academy, which is an amazing program where I get to teach religious education to public school children during the day. They get pulled out of their
Wait a
public
minute.
school.
Wait a minute. Say it again so we really capture that.
During the day. They get pulled out of their public school. They get taken to a local church, community center, something. We teach them the Gospel Project. We are teaching them about Jesus
Ah,
during the middle of the day. It
I
is,
love it.
I am just, I'm so blessed. And so it just changed, right? And I still get to teach kids about Jesus. It's just different. And now I'm a grandma. And so I get to talk to my grandkids about Jesus all the time. So it just
Yeah.
changes, but it's still serving him, serving his kids. Yeah.
I love that. So I want to make sure we really land the plane here on this.
Mhm.
The premise of the question, the way that I asked it, you could think, hey, whatever you got to do to stay in it, stay in it. And that's not what we're saying. What you said very beautifully, Tina, is listen to God's voice, right? Like God is going to make clear this path for you. And yeah, you felt like you were doing some placeholder things, but he's got you right where he wants you right now. And it is still very much in the world of discipling kids. It's still very much in the world of being a faith influencer. And then he said, oh, by the way, I've got this 10-person church for you. It's your grandkids, right? And so ministry leaders, don't hear us saying, you can't quit. We can't do it without you. What we're saying is listen to God and follow him because he has something incredible for you that is meant for you. So don't miss that. But Tanya, how would you how would you encourage somebody right now who's just like, I need a little bit of oomph. I need a little bit of power behind what I'm doing. I gotta kind of reignite something.
Yeah, good question. I think as I'm listening to Tina talk, just reflecting on our last year of working together, I think she and I have been mentoring each other through because we both have this transition time in our
Yeah.
life with kids adulting and now what, Lord. And I had been a teacher, quit teaching, went to Bethel, got my master's, thought I was going to start this great children's ministry. And now the church is going a different direction. And I'm not sure, like, now what? Um, but I think yeah, it's the redirection. And my journey this past year, I guess I would share with someone who's going through that, like, what do I do now? Is just that being versus doing. Um, the message that I came home from the conference in January, the CPC conference, was um, be in the wilderness. Like the Israelites didn't get to the promised land lickety split. God
Right.
had some work to do in their hearts and in them before he took them to where he needed them to be. So this past year has been kind of a wilderness. I'm transitioning out of something I'd been doing and doing something. God just said, do something. And like now I'm doing all these hat things and all these other things. But as I look at them, someone asked me the question, like, well, how do they all work together? I'm like, they are. They're all within this realm of mentoring and
Right.
coaching, helping other people do what they need to do. It may not be me teaching the children at this point, but it might be me mentoring and coaching other people that can actually do that thing. So I think, like Tina said, and you rephrased it well, that it's not that you're not doing your calling, you're just doing it a different way,
Right.
what you had intended. And my one word passage for the year is trust, and it trust in that redirection because I thought I was going this way, now I'm going this way, or I'm not sure where that next way is. But so for someone that is, feeling burnt out or done, I need to quit, it's okay.
Right.
And I think that's something that we would talk through as a coach. Like, it's okay. Someone said to me, if you're going to leave, leave well, or, make
Yeah.
all the things part of it. But God's got a plan, and there's a purpose, and he's created us for a purpose. So listening for that calling, and just listen.
I love it. There are people right now who are thinking, all right, I'm doing it. I'm ready. I'm going to go on the website. I'm going to fill out the assessment. I'm going to get into this coaching relationship because I am in the season that both of you just talked about. There's somebody listening who's saying, I don't know what's next, but I don't think it's what I'm currently doing. I think this has been great for a season. I think that God has used my gifts here, but I feel like there's just something on the horizon that may be a little bit different. This is why this initiative exists, right? So that we can help people find clarity in those next steps. What are you most excited about you've gotten things rolling with this? What are you most excited about in the next season of this initiative?
Those emails just start rolling in.
That's
Like,
right.
I want to start meeting with people and helping, coming alongside those faith influencers, whether it be, parents, grandparents, ministry leaders. I really want to just, get going. It's really great stuff. Like the research that we found from the book and just applying that into our settings. I can't wait to see lives changed.
I love it. Oh, I can't wait to see lives changed. I mean, what a beautiful thing to get to be a part of. Yeah, that's awesome. Tanya, any thoughts on what's exciting coming up?
Yeah, I think anytime that the ones that I've practiced, coached with, and then whenever I would get home from like doing a parenting workshop or, coaching, working with the parents, or even mentoring my new teachers, I get done with that session. Like that fills my bucket,
Yeah.
that knowing that you're helping and supporting someone else. And yeah, I'm anxious to have some more clients and to start working on that. And and I we are continuing to meet regularly, regrouping after summer, but we've got a couple of things we want to continue to work on. And if we're going to bring on new coaches, we'll work on getting that figured out. And, maybe just even creating content. We've played around the idea, like having a workbook, having that resource that the parents have something to work through, or the faith
Yeah.
leader, just so they have, something they can work on. So that's all in the future.
Well, whether you want to refer to yourself as a client or a coachee, there are openings. You can begin this process, and so we will put the links and the way to do that in the show notes of this episode. I would really encourage you to take that step, and even if there's a little baby step before that, it would be just share an idea with somebody who's local around you in your ministry context. Connect with the church down the street, see what they're doing, share what you're doing. The more we do that, the more we work together as churches in the areas where we're in. I think the better we are. So thank you all for your authenticity, your humility, as you've talked about your own experiences. Thank you for naming, like, hey, we're not the experts here. Like, we don't have every answer. We're just trying to partner with folks and try to help them, again, take a next step. Thank you for your willingness to step into those spaces with people, and I cannot wait to hear what continues to come from this. And we'd love to have you all back on at some point, just to share wins and share what
Yeah.
what fruit you have seen from this work that you've been doing. So thank you very much, Tina. Enjoy that grandchild.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Lots of good snuggles. And hey, for everybody listening, thank you once again for joining us on the Nurturing Faith Collective podcast. We will see you next time.